You have seconds to catch their interest. And in those seconds, you have to tell them what they need to hear. You need a head-turning factor like, wow, that sounds like me. I want to know more. And if you're lucky, they will interrupt you and they'll start asking you questions because they're engaged. The more they're talking versus you talking during your introduction, the more you know your introduction's working. The reason I started you with the 20-word or 160-character bio, I told you this yesterday, is because it's Twitter's restriction, and it has really become sort of the description that migrates throughout social media. And before long, people realize even on their websites, they need something that short to get people to want to read the rest of the website. The days of people reading paragraphs to figure out what you do are over. And in those few words, you have to tell your business purpose, what you do, what makes you distinctive, trustworthy, and likable. Yesterday, I told you something that makes them want to know more. In the same way, it's likable. If I want a social media company with values, that description is very likable to me. As one who sometimes feels that I'm just being barraged by people just putting forth sales messages on social media, that I really would gravitate toward that, to think so you have to think, who do we want to reach and what's going to make us likable to them? Inspiration. You know that your clientele is looking for that kind of empowerment and resilience. That's what they're celebrating. So figure out, what is it that makes your business likable? And then always make it keyword rich. Anything you can do to make your description include the keywords that people would use when searching for you, it becomes a way to further optimize. You cannot really expect searches to lead people to a small business. It's still your job to get your business to them. Putting your Facebook link on your email signature line, whatever, it's your job to pull them to you. But nonetheless, when they are searching, you want to make sure that you come up, that there's a possibility you'll come up, and that'll only happen if it's keyword rich, and then certainly attention worthy, and no hype. No hype. Nobody wants to hear you're the best, you're the premier. And later we're going to get into something I'll tell you now and I'll repeat it later. People don't buy features, they buy benefits. And so before you say we are the oldest or the longest standing or we have the biggest studio, we have the most expensive camera equipment, those are features. Add the word which means and complete the sentence. When you complete the sentence, you figure out the benefit, which means I can accommodate big crowds and you will never feel crowded. Or which means, I don't know what it is. You have to figure out what's the benefit they want. But think of your feature, add the word which means, you end up with a benefit, and that's how you avoid hype. Make sense? What I said before is the elevator pitch has turned into a Twitter pitch. But it's still the basis for it becomes the basis for a longer conversation, and in your business plan you do need to explain it in more than 120 words. So as you work up that introduction, you want to know, when you work up your introduction of whatever length it is, put it through this test. Does it tell your business purpose? And sometimes that means deciding your business purpose. Peter's right, I was not a fan of business plans. I wasn't a fan of budgeting. I still don't like budgeting. But I realized you had to do it. What I was always a fan of was talking. And so I always knew that I had to tell people what it is they wanted to hear, and that was the business purpose. I never doubted our business purpose. So in some ways, although I wasn't a fan of the structure of planning, I always planned. So there. The business you're in and your business purpose, the product or service you offer. Again, these are really self-search issues before they are presentation issues. Your target customer, and that you serve an adequately large target market, especially if you're looking for support from others. You need to know this for yourself, but anyone who's going to support your business needs to know who are you serving and is that an adequately large target market. I'll tell you with books, when you propose a book, if you can't really firmly prove that that book will sell 5,000 copies, no major publisher is interested in it. They are going to lose money if they can't sell 5,000 copies. So I have to go back to how many people are out there in this situation. How many of them likely buy books? How many of them are likely to buy this book? How many are likely to buy this book in the first 6 months of its release? And if I can prove that that'll be 5,000 people, I can sell that book contract. So you have to figure out how many people are out there. And maybe I decide 5,000 people aren't going to buy that book, and so I sell it as an article to target groups that reach fewer people. You figure out who's your target customer and how many are there. Are there enough of them to make it profitable? The benefits the customers can count on. This is really called a value proposition. What value do they get out of working with your business? A sense of your business personality. You know, I just have some random question marks in here, don't I? And I'm sorry for that. But it is a question, I guess, but there's not supposed to be a question mark there. A sense of your business personality. When I was first working with CreativeLive, and I want to give a shout out to the producer of this course, Michael Karsh, because he's wonderful and he's guided me through these courses. And he said, what's your personality so that they could make, what's your brand so that they could make the stage look like me? And I said, approachable and professional. That's my personality. Done. And you know what? I said it naturally without even thinking. Nobody had actually asked me that question for a long time. But it's nice to know your personality. So therefore, everything you put forth conveys that. Somebody else doesn't want to be approachable. A lot of top CEOs don't want approachability. They don't want somebody to email them and think they're going to get a result. They don't have time. They can't handle that. So that's not their personality. That's my personality. So know the personality of your business so that your introduction and everything else can convey that personality and therefore attract people who seek that personality. And convey what sets you apart from competitors. Nobody gets away in my world saying they have no competition. Nobody. Because I told you, the customer can always do nothing, and that's a competitor. What sets you apart from doing nothing? What sets you apart from all the other options that could solve the need? And we do go into competition later. And what makes you uniquely distinct and credible?